Hi there, this is Craig Beck. We're about to go live with today's coaching session. You can ask me any question you want. Just type a comment below and I'll do my best to answer it. If you would like to come on and get some free live coaching or to talk about your journey to sobriety, then please enter your email address in the comments box and I will send you an invitation by email. Don't worry, it's all self-explanatory. Okay, let's go. Hey, how you doing? This is Craig Beck and we are live on Monday, the 12th of April. And I don't know, you wait 3 weeks for a video and then 3 come along at once. I'm just trying to make a commitment to do more of these because they seem to be helpful. People generally said that they thought it was a good idea to do them more often. So that's what I'm trying to do. They're going to be a little bit more clunky and unplanned than the kind of prepared videos. If you would like to come on and have some one-to-one coaching or to talk about what you have found beneficial on your journey from problem drinking to sobriety, then just enter your email address in the comments below and I should see it here on my screen. And then I will very awkwardly go and send you an email while at the same time doing a live YouTube feed and send you a link on how you do it. It's really simple. If you've got a webcam and a mic, you just basically click on this link. It will take you to a page and you click a blue button and that's it. Okay. But if you have any questions at all, if you're struggling at the moment, there's no judgment here. If you've done my course or if you've been to a boot camp, nobody's done more stupid things than me in the journey to try and quit drinking. So there's absolutely no judgment. You can ask me anything you want. You can describe any situation you want. If you are sober and you have some tips for people who are making the same journey, then that's very welcome as well. But no matter where you are in the world, say hi, say hello, so I know who's listening. And if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe because it really helps us get that message out to other people around the world who perhaps are looking for a little bit of help right now. So I have a couple of things that I wanted to kind of talk about. Just from kind of reading the comments in the Stop Drinking Expert secret Facebook group the other day. Maria, welcome Maria. Thanks for joining us on Facebook today. And one of the members, I won't mention him by name, but basically he'd had a death in the family and it was someone close and it was unexpected. And hi, Anda. And it was one of those moments where the evil clown that lives in your head, which is how I describe alcohol, it's one of those moments when the evil clown gets a really good piece of leverage on you. Now it can really get to you and it can say things like, if you can't drink now, then when can you drink? And, you know, it gives you all these justifications as to why, when you're in the pit of despair, when you're feeling that grief and that loss, the best solution is to drink an anesthetic and make it go away. And it seems logical because you don't want to feel like that. You want to be kind of outside your body. You want to be anywhere else than where you're feeling at that moment. So it makes sense. But, and in fact, I talk about this when we had a sudden death in our family about 4 years ago. And the strangest thing happened. I was walking through a shopping mall in the UK, and I'd gone back to the UK for the funeral. And it was in that awkward period between the death and the burial. And I was kind of on my own for a few days. And I was walking through this shopping mall. And just out of the blue, all of a sudden, I got this voice in my head. And it said, you don't need to feel like this, Craig. Just go into that shop there, buy some alcohol. And it shocked me because it just came out of nowhere. I just stopped, like frozen in the shopping mall. Everyone must have thought I was crazy. And I just kind of listened to this voice and thought, you sneaky bastard, where did you come from? And I almost laughed at it like that was clever. So I understand that when you're in that grieving state, you know, it can be tempting to turn to alcohol. Hi, Samundu, you're very welcome. Hi, Pamela, welcome all in. By the way, ask me anything. I'm here for as long as you need me to be. Any questions, any concerns, any worries, anything you want to share, please post the comment up, or you can even come on as a guest if you want to. Just drop your email address in the box below. So Jeff was saying that he very nearly turned to alcohol to deal with grief. And I want to explain this. Grief, in my experience, is a process. It is a journey that you have to go through, and it's painful and it's unpleasant and it's horrible. And you would give anything in that moment to fast forward it or to skip a bit of it. And you just simply can't. It has a very precise order that has to be gone through. And what I find, and what I found from speaking to people, is that all alcohol does when you use it to try and deal with grief is it hits the pause button. It does not hit the fast forward button. It does not take you past the painful bit and move you to a bit where you can tolerate it more. It hits the pause button. And if you keep hitting the pause button using alcohol, it just means that you are extending the grieving process much longer than it needs to be. And it's a long process anyway. But if you keep using alcohol, all it will do is make it more painful and longer than it would have been if you'd done it sober. So that's all I wanted to mention about that, really, because I understand, I don't know where everyone else is in the world, and everyday tragedies happen and things. And it is a real weak point if you're newly sober, because that evil clown jumps in and says, oh, yeah, I can get you now. Say hello to a few people. Pamela, always keep trying. It's so worth it. Never give up. Good point. Jeff, good morning from Wisconsin. It must be crazy early there, is it, Jeff? That's one thing I'm struggling with this live question session, is when to do it, because people are all around the world, and the only place people aren't is Cyprus, where I am. And so I'm like 6,000 miles away from the vast majority of you. So I'm just kind of doing them as and when and feeling my way through it. So forgive me if it's like a crazy late or crazy early for you. Jennifer, watching on Facebook right now. Hi, Jennifer. Had 9 months sober, but your book changed my perception of alcohol, made things a bit easier. Thank you for sharing. You're very welcome, Jennifer, and well done. Congratulations. Charlie Smith, welcome. Hi. Robert Gales. Oh, how do you say your surname? I won't insult you by trying. I bought your book. Thank you. And you're 5 months sober now. Excellent. Let me ask you a question. Did anyone watching hear about my book or my program on The Woody Show? Apparently, it's a syndicated show across the United States. I got an email off the producer of the show this morning saying that they've been talking about me for months. And they have a drunk line that you can ring and leave a voicemail on or something. And they were asking me to come to LA to be a guest on their show. And I'm really flattered. But obviously I live a long way away. I've never heard of The Woody Show, but just wondered if anyone had heard of it. Tim, hi Tim, welcome in, watching on YouTube. Love your work, 10 months sober. Thank you and congratulations, that's awesome. Samundo, watching in Japan, very good. Where are you, Samundo? Are you on the sober journey, or are you still thinking about getting started? Charlie Smith, what's the best way to stop relapses? I want to be free of alcohol, but after 3 weeks, the cravings are too tricky sometimes. Many thanks. It kind of depends how you're doing it, Charlie, but the way I talk about it in my course and at boot camp is it's the kind of, this addiction is in two parts. You've got the chemical addiction of the drug. And, I talk about this all the time, the kick from the drug. And this is actually, the chemical being in your body, having the ability to alter your mental state by releasing chemicals and causing you anxiety and things like that. That kind of chemical state only lasts for about 2 weeks with alcohol. All drugs have their kind of kick duration. And the alcohol kick is about 2 weeks. It's different for everyone, but generally a couple of weeks. Whereas the kick from heroin is really short, but it's really, really potent. If you try and get off heroin, you're going to suffer immensely. And the drug is going to kick you very hard. And all the time, you're going to have to go through all this pain, knowing that you can stop the pain in an instant just by taking heroin. Now, thankfully, the kick from alcohol is a lot milder, and it's more of a sensation of anxiety, just being on edge, not being comfortable in your own skin. And after about 2 weeks, if you get a craving to drink, as you're describing at the 3 week point, it's not because of the drug. The drug has no ability to do that to you. It is purely a psychological trigger in your head. Now, it could be, Charlie, that after 3 weeks, you relax something and you start doing something again, or you go somewhere where you didn't go previously, or it's a time of the month, maybe it's when you get paid or something like that. There's probably some event happening that you're either conscious of or you're not conscious of that is triggering an anchor in your head. And don't underestimate how powerful these anchors are. They can get you to do pretty much anything. And, you know, I talk about Pavlov and his dogs because this is how we found out about them. You know, the social scientist Ivan Pavlov trained his dogs by ringing a bell every time he fed them. And then eventually he could ring the bell and not feed them, but get the same response from the dogs. They would salivate and act like they were being fed. And that just shows you, if you've been drinking alcohol every payday, if you've been drinking alcohol every time you feel depressed or stressed, you're creating something similar. So to give you a few tips on what to do when you get a craving, the first, I always tell people to do 4 things when you get a craving. I am conscious I'm missing a lot of people, so I will come back to that. 4 things to do if you get a craving, all right? Number 1, drink a glass of water. And I know that sounds like, that's hardly a miracle, Craig. But honestly, sometimes us drinkers, we mistake the craving for alcohol with actually your body's telling you you're thirsty. We've confused the two for so long that we get mixed up. So drink a glass of water. If you still want to drink after that, I suggest you do something called a pattern interrupt. This is where you deliberately do something dramatically different than what you should do. So, for example, if you get a craving to drink when you're cooking the evening meal, you're in the kitchen, and that's when you start drinking normally, and you're 3 weeks sober and you're cooking in the kitchen and you get a craving to drink, you need to break the chain of what would normally happen next. Normally, you would open the fridge and pour yourself a glass of wine or grab a beer. So do something dramatically different. Go out into the backyard and jump on the kids' trampoline. Run around the block. Do star jumps. Sing happy birthday to yourself. I don't care what it is, just dramatically different. And it's a bit like, if you had like an old LP, an old record, and you got a nail and you dragged it across the record, eventually the record would no longer play anymore. And that's what you're doing with a pattern interrupt. So if you do that and you still want to drink, I want you to do something called tapping therapy. And this is going to be another one of those things that seems so simple that it couldn't possibly achieve anything. But trust me, it's really powerful. I saw a famous hypnotist called Paul McKenna in London about 10 years ago, and he used this one technique to cure a lady of her Coca-Cola addiction. She was drinking, I think, 8 liters of Coca-Cola a day, and he cured her with this one technique. I mean, she was in a terrible mess. She'd lost all her teeth because of the addiction. She was morbidly obese. Tapping therapy is this. Basically, you take 2 fingers and you're going to, rewind, back up. The first thing to do is to give yourself a score out of 10 for how much you want to drink. So if you're crazy craving a drink, then it might be 9 out of 10, something like that. Then you take 2 fingers and you're going to tap on your cheekbone here for 30 seconds and time it a full 30 seconds. Tap, 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 tap. After 30 seconds, give yourself a score out of 10 for now how much you want to drink. Maybe it's come down a little bit. Maybe it's 7 out of 10 now, but still too high. So change it. Forehead, chin, under the nose, even on karate chop point in your hand. And these are meridian points in the body. Keep doing it another 30 seconds, give yourself a score, and you should find that slowly your craving to drink alcohol comes down. Now, the reason this works, and it does work, is for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's a pattern interrupt in and of itself. Because normally when you want to drink alcohol, what do? You drink alcohol. You don't stand tapping your face for 30 seconds. So it's a bit weird. It's already breaking the link. And secondly, this action, and you can research it, it's not something I just thought of, one crazy morning. This kind of stops your body releasing cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So if you're not stressed and anxious, generally your cravings subside. It's a great technique for like stage fright, for anxiety, for fear of flying, anything like that. Just calms you down. And the fourth thing is hypnosis. Daily. Find a hypnosis track you like about stopping drinking. Listen to it daily. Okay. That was a really long answer. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's say hello to a few people. Amanda, as soon as I quit, the moderator brain steps in. How do you stop this and stick to your resolve? The moderator brain, you mean the suggestion that you can drink in moderation? What do you mean by that? Man, just give me a few more lines on that. Samundo, 2 months sober. Good man. Excellent. Todd, hello from California. 4 a.m. here. What are you doing up, Todd? 3 months sober after binge drinking for more than 20 years. You've helped me more than you can know. Congratulations, Todd. Stick at it. Stick at it. You're 3 months sober. You're only just getting started on the good stuff. The real amazing things start happening around now for you. So stick at it. Bobby Blackburn on YouTube. 2 weeks sober. Excellent. Well done, Bobby. Jennifer is in the Arandak Mountains, 7 a.m. Okay. Hi to Kate. Hi, Kate. Welcome on in. Samundu, does smoking links too? Do you mean does smoking create links? All drugs do. But I've never smoked. So some people ask me, can you help me with my smoking? And I tend to say, it's not really my area. If you want to stop smoking, Alan Carr's easy way to stop smoking is your best bet. From what I've heard from other smokers. I've got a good friend called Mark Keane, who's one of the best smoking cessation counselors in the world, as far as I know. You can Google him online. He's in the UK. Lucy, hi from Australia. What time is it in Australia, Lucy? 2 years sober, absolutely fantastic. Amanda, I mean, my brain tells me I can moderate my drinking. Maybe drink every other day or just at weekends. Yeah. Okay. Linda Smith, 19 months sober. You superstar, you. Amanda, remember the 5 most dangerous words you can ever think or say. Just one drink won't hurt. Just one drink won't hurt. That is all you're ever going to hear from the clown, right? He's never going to say, drink 2 bottles of wine, drink a bottle of vodka. It's always going to be a suggestion of moderation, because the drug knows that, you know, most bottles of alcohol these days, if you look on the back, a really small label, it says drink in moderation or drink responsibly. You know why the alcohol companies are okay about putting that on their product? As a kind of way of pacifying governments who want to control alcohol. They're okay with it because they know that 90% of their customers can't do that anyway. So it doesn't make any difference. Put what you want. They're not going to do it. Because most people who have a problem with alcohol can't drink in moderation. That's why they've got a problem. So the clown's going to suggest to you that you can now moderate your drinking. And I'm going to, in a minute, I'll tell you about a serious trapdoor that happens after you're between 6 months and 1 year sober. That's along the same lines. I'll tell you about that in a minute. He's going to suggest that you can drink in moderation because it's an easy sell. It's easier than saying, come on, let's go out and get tanked up and drink 8 pints of lager or whatever. So it's always going to say drink one drink. But if you want to, if you're listening to that voice in your head and it's starting to sound like it makes sense, you're at a wedding and there's free champagne and you're thinking, well, I could probably just have one just to toast the bride and groom. And it's starting to make sense in your head. All I want you to do is change the drug. All right. And that will show you how stupid it is. Because imagine if you just got off heroin and then the voice in your head said, surely you can just have one shot of heroin. Do you see how stupid that sounds? Because we are, our thinking is perfectly aligned about heroin. When you say the words, it just sounds ridiculous. You're like, of course you can't. You're a heroin addict. Of course you can't just have a little bit of heroin. That's insane. And so for us problem drinkers, even though it sounds really sensible and logical, you can't have a little bit of the drug that wants to kill you. any more than it is sensible to play a little bit of Russian roulette. It just doesn't make any sense. So change the drug and you will get clarity on what is really going on. All right, that trapdoor, because I saw someone in the Stop Drinking Expert Facebook group yesterday celebrating something, and I saw it and I thought, oh no, oh, this is a disaster, because I've seen it so many times. This lady in the Facebook group, and I can't remember her name, she'd accidentally had a drink. She'd been sober for 6 months, and I don't know what the situation was, but she'd actually maybe picked up the wrong glass or something, and she'd had a drink of wine, and she found it disgusting. It was the most horrible thing she'd tasted, and she was so pleased that she came onto the Facebook group and said, I hate the taste of alcohol. I'm safe. I'll never want to drink alcohol now because I hate the taste of it. You would not believe the amount of people who've contacted me and said the same thing. Craig, I accidentally had a drink of alcohol, but don't worry, because I didn't even like the taste of it. Honestly, this will play in your head like a record, and it will play the same way every time. Then you'll find yourself saying to yourself, well, as I don't like the taste of it anymore, maybe I can just have a drink to be social and just sip it because I don't like the taste of it anymore. And so begins the spiral downwards. And honestly, within a week, 2 weeks, you'll not only be drinking again, but you'll be drinking at the same rate that you were on the day before you stopped. I've seen it so many times. It's an illusion. And you feel so happy because you think you're cured. You think, oh, I don't like it anymore. It's just a trick. Be very careful. If you are now sober, because it's going to come at some point. You'll maybe sip some alcohol, or you'll have a dessert like tiramisu or something with alcohol in it. Just, have my words in your head at this point. Okay, who we got here? Alex, good morning in St. Louis. Must be crazy early there, Alex. 3 years sober. Fantastic. Can I just ask everyone watching, do you find these kind of more regular, more ad hoc things useful? Would it be useful for us all to kind of get together and just have almost like a meeting together? Would that help keep the momentum going? Tim, I was buying eye whitener to cover up my red, horrible eyes in the morning after drinking crazy. It's amazing what we do to cover up, instead of dealing with the problem, to cover up the problem. It's crazy what we do. You're right. Steve W. just joined in on YouTube. Hi from down under. It's either really late there or really early. I have no idea which one. Coffee Man, when the brain tells you let's drink in moderation, it really means let's black out. Yeah, alcohol has one mission. And even though the voice in your head sounds like you speaking, it really helps to see alcohol as a third person, like a rogue tenant that lives in your head. And it has one mission. It wants to kill you. It wants you dead. That's all it wants. And that sounds a bit insane because then it kills itself, but it is insane. It's that crazy evil clown that lives in your head. He just wants you dead. Samundo, I had the same accident. You mean the just one drink? And thinking, oh, I don't like it anymore. So common. But hardly anyone talks about it. Hemang, yes, welcome in. Thank you, Hemang. Steve W, is this mainly YouTube or Facebook? It's both. It's on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, Steve, right now. Jeff, absolutely. So you think a regular meeting is helpful? That's good. Mo, is it normal for the evil clown to say to your mind, come on, drink, remember all those times it was fun and everything was okay? Of course, yeah. And the problem with what I hear from people who stop with my approach, because it doesn't involve willpower, it involves a kind of a reprogramming of your thinking. And because every single person that comes to my website It's not the first time they've tried to stop drinking. Most people have tried dozens of times, some people hundreds or even thousands of times to stop drinking, and they've failed every single time. And they're beaten up, they're feeling down, they're upset, they're feeling shameful, they're thinking I'm a terrible person. And then they do my course and they just stop drinking. And the problem, that's a great thing, but the problem with that is after about 3 months, they put on the rose-tinted glasses. And the clown says, just think back to all those good times you had. And you know what? Do you remember when you stopped drinking? It was so easy. You just did it. One day you were drinking, the next you weren't. It's so easy. So maybe you can just have one drink. And if you need to stop again, you just do the same thing. It's easy. There's all this sort of nonsense comes in. And the further you get away from alcohol, the more you kind of forget just how miserable it was making you and how much it was destroying your life. But you can still look back and remember all the good times. So what I suggest you do, and what I suggest everyone does at boot camp, is you make a day one video. The first day you get sober, you sit down with your phone and you record a video of yourself talking to yourself. This is not for anyone else but you. It doesn't matter if you don't like the sound of your voice or you hate the way you look or anything like that. Nobody's going to see it but you. And you have a very honest conversation with yourself. So you explain to yourself just how miserable you are, just how much damage alcohol did to your life, to your relationships, to your finances, to your career, to your children. And you don't pull any punches. I want you to stick the knife in and twist it really hard. And don't sugarcoat it because it's just for yourself. So you might as well lay it on the line. And you basically beg yourself, don't ever go back there. Because I'm telling you, right now, it hurts. And just watch that video once every couple of months. It's painful to watch, but it just helps you remember what this nasty narcissistic drug did to you. And it helps you deal with the old rose-tinted glasses, looking backwards. Alex, first live session, like it a lot. Good. I'll do more. 10:30 with you, Steve. So it's reasonable. Jennifer, this is the first live feed I've watched, but I love it. Embrace any added support. Good to hear. Let's see what else we got here. Every morning I wake up and, this is Hamang, every morning I wake up and think, not today. And by the afternoon time, the car just drives itself to the store. I've even tried shifting my working hours and it doesn't work. Yeah. And that's the misery of problem drinking. And this is not, I'm not talking about being a full-blown alcoholic where, you can't function without alcohol in your system. I'm talking about the much more common problem of being a problem drinker. And that loop of drinking, waking up and saying, oh, I drank again. Right, I'm not going to drink tonight. Drinking, oh, I drank again. I'm not going to drink tonight. It will go on for the rest of your life unless you change it, because that doesn't work. That morning ritual of saying, oh, I'm not going to drink again, or promising your wife or your husband, I promise I won't drink tonight. All that'll happen is you'll drink, but you'll hide it from them. You got to do something different, because that loop, honestly, it will take you to your grave. I did it for that loop, probably 10 years of my life. Whole decade of my life in a loop of waking up and lying to myself every morning. So, it's like if you've got to do something different, because if you keep doing that, if you keep having that conversation with yourself, all you're going to get is the same result every single time. So something has to change. You have to find something different, because you're never going to achieve it that way. It doesn't work. Because let me tell you why it doesn't work. Alcohol's a bit like a Trojan horse. It like drops a command into your brain on a delay, on a timer. So when you start drinking on a Monday night, let's say you start drinking at 6 o'clock on a Monday night, the alcohol leaves something in your brain that's going to activate about 24 hours later. So 6 o'clock Tuesday night, you're going to be overcome by this urge to drink alcohol because of the Trojan horse in your head. So it doesn't matter that on Tuesday morning you woke up and went, right, that's it, I'm not drinking tonight. Because 6 o'clock, this thing's going to activate in your head, and you're going to feel all jittery and anxious, and you're going to say, oh, I could do with a drink. I'll start tomorrow. So you see what I mean? You basically, you're repeatedly turning up to a gunfight with a knife. You have no chance of winning this, because this drug has the power to change your emotions, to make you feel pain. And you're never going to win against that with pure willpower. So you have to do something different. Fiona, hi Fiona, from Indiana. Meetings would be fantastic. But Fiona, what's the best time of day to do this? I'm thinking kind of 11 o'clock Central Time, something like that. But I don't really know, because I'm in a crazy time zone. Liban, alcohol is a con. Absolutely. Alcohol companies get away with it. Yeah, they do. You know, I talk about this at boot camp. If you think about it, alcohol is a very strange drug. In fact, it's a drug that we don't even like to call a drug, isn't it? You know, you go up to people in a bar and ask them how their drug use is going. It's not going to go down very well, is it? But if you think about it, alcohol is the only drug on planet Earth that is allowed to market itself on mass media, and it is allowed to claim anything in the world. No other product on planet Earth, never mind drug, no other product on planet Earth is allowed to do that. For example, if I brought out a new brand of car tire and I advertised it on TV and I said, use Beck's car tires and you'll never, ever have an accident. Firstly, they wouldn't let me, because I'd have to prove it, wouldn't I? And I wouldn't be able to. And secondly, how quickly do I get sued? Probably within about 20 minutes. The first time someone dies driving a car with my car tires on, right? But alcohol, say anything once. Drink our beer and you'll get more friends. Drink our wine and you'll become more sophisticated. Drink our champagne if you want to look like James Bond. It says anything, and A, nobody ever questions it, and B, nobody ever stops it. That's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, imagine, again, change the drug. You imagine if you saw a cigarette commercial these days and it said, smoke Marlboro and you'll be 10 times sexier. There'd be outrage, wouldn't there? But for some reason, a drug that kills 2 million people every year is allowed to do it. Why? Bonkers. Tim, William Porter's book is fantastic. He absolutely agree with you. He has 2 of them now, Alcohol Explained and Alcohol Explained 2. Both of them exceptional, really good books. One of my favorite sobriety books out there. He's from London. I was supposed to meet up with him, but then coronavirus, got in the way. Most of society is brainwashed with alcohol. Yeah, still, it's everywhere, isn't it? Jeff, I've lost your comment. Oh, here we go. I used to put whiskey in my coffee to cure my hangover. What a horrible way to live. Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? When people say that to get rid of a hangover, you should drink a Bloody Mary, you should have vodka and tomato juice. It's nonsensical, isn't it? Think about it. Imagine if you went to hospital, if you went to the emergency room and you said, I've been poisoned. And the doctor went, well, I know what to do. We'll give you more poison. It's crazy. But for some reason we go, oh, yeah, okay, let's do that. I feel terrible, but give me some more vodka. Tim, I'm still dreaming about alcohol after 10 months sober. Yeah, it happens a lot. Alcohol dreams happen a lot. I had about one a week for the first 3 months, and they're really vivid. Sometimes you wake up and you check the garbage because you're convinced you drank last night. You go looking for bottles and things. All I can tell you, Tim, is they do fade. It's different for everyone. I think they became like once a month for me. And then once every 6 months. So I was like shocked when I had one. They will fade. And sometimes watch out for this as well. You get phantom hangovers. You wake up in the morning with a really bad hangover, even though you haven't had a drink for weeks or months. It's really unfair. The phantom hangovers, they're a bitch. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Linda, will this session be available to rewatch? Yes. It's going to be on YouTube on my channel, so you just go there and you'll be able to watch it all over again. Chef Monty, been sober almost 10 months. Thanks for all the help. Superstar. Well done, Chef. Let's have a look. Robert says it's poison in a fancy bottle. Spot on. Correct, it is. And it is. You know, sometimes people think I'm being melodramatic when I say that. You know, attractively packaged poison. And they say, don't be ridiculous. How can you call champagne poison? Because alcohol is a registered poison. If you buy it from a chemist in 100% neat state, it comes in a bottle with a skull and crossbones on it. And it says poison. It's a registered poison. So you're drinking a diluted poison. So you might as well drink diluted bleach. And I know that sounds ridiculous. And you might say, well, this bleach would kill you. Well, so would 100% neat alcohol. You know, if you dilute bleach enough, it won't kill you. But there's not a good reason to drink it, is it? Jennifer, my biggest problem was I didn't get into trouble. I followed all the rules, never drank till after work. All my years of finessing it ended in me choosing to quit because I knew it was killing me. I was a good mom, but like Craig, I never wanted to do anything if there wasn't alcohol. I have severe anxiety, so alcohol allowed me to be social. All excuses. There are still days it's tough, but every aspect of my life has improved drastically. I feel like the universe is rewarding me for a good choice. I couldn't have said it better myself, Jennifer. And actually, I don't know if you found this as well, but my kind of good behavior and failure to appear like the Hollywood stereotype of what an alcoholic looks like actually probably kept me drinking for a few years longer than I would have done, because I reasoned to myself, even as though I was starting to get severe health problems, and basically my life was falling apart. But I was still reasoning to myself that A, I never, ever, ever wanted to drink first thing in the morning. B, I never missed work because of alcohol. C, I'd never been arrested or given a DUI because of my alcohol. D, I wasn't sneaking off to the toilets at work and sneaking a bit of vodka or anything like that. I wasn't hiding my drinking from anyone. All these things I used as validation for me not having a problem. It's just plausible deniability. We need to give ourselves a story so that we can feel comfortable doing something stupid. But I get where you're coming from. Steve, hello from the UK. Relapsed after 2 years sober. I'm back on track and 20 days sober. Nice one, Steve. So you've learned a valuable lesson. Now you have one more bit of evidence that what doesn't work. Yeah. Like I always say, don't beat yourself up too much about that. It happens. Just like you've done, dust yourself down, quietly get back on the horse, and off you go. Tim, you've had the phantom hangovers. They're a bitch. Colin, red blotches on the face, best way to get rid of them. Well, it depends what they are. When you're drinking, you get quite bloated and lots of things are wrong with your body. If you give it long enough, a lot of that will just subside, especially if you bring in some exercise and stuff like that. If you've got burst capillaries in the skin because that's, alcohol damages the vessels, I believe you can fix a lot of these with laser treatment. You can go and get them kind of removed using a laser. I'm not sure if it hurts. It might be a local anesthetic or something, but I've heard you can get that done. There you go. I was telling you about Mark Keane earlier. Mark Keane is one of the best smoking cessation counselors in the world, UK based. Look him up if you want to stop smoking. Mark said, I still get smoking dreams after 20 years, maybe once every 5 years. I think it's a positive thing. It's your unconscious mind dealing with the change. There you go. Makes perfect sense. William, I've tried to stop drinking, but with my depression, it feels like the only thing that gives me a break from it. I drink by myself. I don't drink with other people. William, hopefully this week, I'm going to have a guest on the live feed. He is an expert in clinical depression. He's a chartered psychologist. He has a lot of history with his own battle with mental health. In fact, he was even sectioned into a mental institution for his own protection about probably 10, 15 years ago. He's written a book about how he got through that period of his life and how he's learned to deal with depression. He's very, very good at what he does. He'll be coming. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you've clicked the bell button, because it will be hopefully this week, maybe next week. We'll get him on. We'll talk about it. The only thing I will say at this point to you is I absolutely categorically guarantee you that drinking is making your depression worse. It's like I know it feels like it helps in the short term, but it only helps in the short term in the same way that using a loan shark helps your financial situation in the short term. If you're desperately poor, you can't even afford to feed yourself, and a loan shark comes along and offers you a loan and you take the money, for a brief period of time, life is better. But we all know what happens next. Life gets infinitely worse and your financial situation gets infinitely worse. And if you keep using loan sharks to deal with this problem, you begin a spiral downwards until you get to a point where it's just unbearable and you go bankrupt. Using alcohol to deal with depression is the same thing. If you keep using alcohol to deal with depression, you're going into a spiral and you will get down to the point where you're in a very, very bad place. So I won't say any more because I have this guy coming on, Andrew, who knows what he's talking about. He'll give you some very, very good advice. Jennifer, nailed it. We were kindred drinkers. You and me, Jennifer. Please say something to get me to stop. I need to stop this. Yeah, it's not, only one person can stop this, and that's you. I can't stop it for you. And this is, if you want to, just me, fairly anonymous, if you want to stop drinking, then you need to try something else, because everything you've tried so far hasn't worked, right? That doesn't mean that you have to use my program, because I'm not here to say there's only one way to stop drinking. All I'm saying is everything you've done so far did not work. So try something else. And if that doesn't work, try something else. Never stop trying until you find the right thing for you. But if you want to stop drinking, the only person who can start the process is you. So make a decision as to what you're going to do. Make that decision today. Are you stopping today or tomorrow? And why not today? Kevin, is your ebook available in the Braille app? I've not heard of that. I know it's on Kindle. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Sorry. Jennifer, Phantom Hangovers. I've not had these. They feel very unfair, Jennifer. Trust me. Coffee Man. Lost your comment. I got a DUI 11 months ago, now stuck riding a bicycle to work 16 kilometers away from home. Yeah, hard lesson to learn. Rosemary says, it only makes depression worse, my friend, worse. I've given up now. See my brain clearer, energy and depression is better. What else we got? How long we've been doing? We're going to wrap up fairly soon, but I promise I'll do another one soon. What else we got? Let's see. John Kelly, did you ever get violently ill after drinking, Craig? You know what? I can't remember. I remember one. I remember one trip to Amsterdam that went particularly badly wrong, and I ended up in hospital, but there was other things involved there. I can't remember. I had some monster hangovers, but I was never at the point where I nearly killed myself. Me says today. Good. But don't do it on your own. Don't say, I will not drink today. I will not drink today, because it's just going to create civil war in your head. Do something different. Start up, read the good books out there. Read Annie Grace, read Jason Vale, read William Porter, read my book, Alcohol Lied to Me. Attend the webinar. You get a free copy for just attending the webinar. Just get started on a different path than you've been on previously. Doreen, pregnancy helped me. Half of us can't help with that, though. Yeah. Dina Miller, 3.5 years sober, 35 years drinking. Started in my early teens, had a drinking father, lots of parties growing up, singing a little band. All I ever knew was drinking. What did it for me were your videos about health, cancer causing, brain effects, liver damage. Lost you. I quit immediately, like a switch went off. I never truly realized how bad. I took all your vitamin suggestions and did the tapping under the eye for the first 6 months. I'm glad it all worked for you, Dina, and congratulations. 3.5 years sober is fantastic, because it's not a straight road, is it? It's not always easy. Things happen, bad things happen in life, and just for a brief moment you think, I'll have a drink because I don't want to deal with this. And in those moments you have to knuckle down and you have to fight, and that's what people don't see. So congratulations. I know what it's like. Dust Frankie on YouTube, thank you for all that you've done for me. My loop is broken. Finding my purpose at 50. Amazing how much the gym has helped in the last couple of years. You rock. Thank you, and congratulations, Dust. Bobby, where do you find William Porter's book? Amazon. Put Alcohol Explained into Amazon, you'll find it. It's on Kindle. He also has it as an audio book as well on audible.com. Well worth a listen, because he's got a really logical, common sense way of explaining alcohol. Does a fantastic job. Okay, look, I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get the notifications. And keep an eye on things, because like I said, I've got Andrew coming on in the next week or so to talk to us about how you deal with depression and anxiety without turning to any form of drugs. And this guy really knows what he's talking about. So thanks a lot for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you next